my biggest question is towards the Skin. Does Nuguri honor Gimgoon and run the FPX Gangplank skin?
Has to be, right? He has to.
You gotta be a bro.
Like,
You gotta be a bro. Exactly right. There is no way you can't, because Nuguri needs to pay respect to those that came before him. Another world champion top laner that was on the roster the year before. Big shout out to Gimgoon. You guys may have forgotten about him, but he was key to the success of the Fun Plus Phoenix. As we run into game number 3, composition set up. FPX on match point. The miracle train will be derailed if FPX win this game or the next couple of games. Because LNG, they've made the run all the way up from round 1. And yes, they get a second chance. But that is their only lifeline here to try and make their run successful towards the grand finals of 2021 summer.
It's so difficult for LNG, though. We've seen them try to go toe-to-toe against FPX in the early stages, but fall apart late. We've seen FPX run away with the early stages and dismantle LNG before they even get to a late game point. This time around, they need to deal with the map pressure from FPX. Global ultimate on the Gangplank. Semi-global on this Twisted Fate. They can start to play wherever the hell they want, and this is the most dangerous version of FPX in the early stages, where they have access to all these globals.
As we enter Summoner's Rift, keep Dagda's words in mind. Global ultimates that we have to keep our eye out for, and see you know, as you said, a traditional version of FPX. What we've seen in the past is DOINB, Tien roam down together towards LWX and Chris Ball. Hell, even look towards Nuguri up in that top lane and give Ale another hard time, because Ale hasn't had the most successful laning phases because FPX have always been up there, or there's always been that counterpick Kennen to get in his way.
Yeah, it does feel like a very 2019 FPX draft, though, right?
Yeah.
The Gangplank topside, fighter, jungle, roaming mid, hyper carry for LWX on the bot side. This definitely feels like traditional FPX, and it's going to be a game and a half for them to try and close this out, push themselves up into semi-finals, potentially go towards the finals, especially when RNG, the team that beat them in spring, has been eliminated by their opponent's LNG here today.
That's right. They can't meet them in the finals. Could be a very good thing as the Flake comes in and LWX just shoots him a couple of bullets. Remember, set. So we'll move past that point and just keep an eye out for junglers here on opposite sides of the map, Dagda. Where do you want to see the entrance first for Tarzan? Because it does feel like I need to start with Tarzan with that Nidalee that needs to get rolling.
Well, let me just flick my textbook League of Legends to page number 4, which says, dive top when you've got Renekton and Nidalee. And it's right there in bold. It's one of the headings. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see here. Because you can already look, right? Tien pathing down bot side. You've got Icon who's got full priority mid. You've got the Nidalee who's going to be moving her way with Ale. Hell, you could even bring Icon along if you wanted to. It's going to be a nice, fun trip.
Dagda, just come over here. Just talk over here off the podcast.
Okay.
With the textbook, the rule is when you become a caster, you're not allowed to reference the textbook because the audience thinks it's a script. And look, you know, we say it's not a script, but we Pepe laugh at that just between us.
But that gets sent later, doesn't it? It's not actually, you know, it's not in the textbook.
Well, we'll talk to the producer after this and just bring it back.
Okay.
Folks, don't worry, just a little bit of a mishap here, and Dagda won't do it again. With the textbook in play, just a little reminder that Tarzan is now up there. He talked about diving. Now, Ale is at half HP in the trade, and Nuguri's actually not doing too bad, albeit not having any mana.
Well, we're not going to get that dive because Tarzan has gone, you know, sod that. I'm moving back down towards this bot side. He wants to try and contest the Scuttle Crab and make sure that Tien is already set behind. So I imagine it's going to be crab to crab and then maybe off the dive, because I was looking at Ale and the way he's managing the wave. He'd already crashed the wave, so not really a big wave set up to try and get on towards Nuguri. So maybe we're just going to see a bit of a slower pace early game from Tarzan here.
Yeah, okay. Well, Ale setting it up as well. Just getting towards a very favorable mark in that first item back. I love when you get Hextech Alternator on a Nidalee Dagda. Spears hit for half HP. Yeah. Feels really good when you land them, and very beneficial for whoever's lane you're going to. So you're right, we'll see Tarzan a little bit slower pace, but a double scuttle once again. Remembering that game 2, Tarzan got double scuttle as well, so another good start.
Yeah, we're seeing the Sheen back from Nuguri as well, which is a pretty aggressive... Oh, hang on.
It is.
I wonder he's going to be fine.
Good dodge, though. I wonder he would just take the bare end of the trade as well as LWX. He's just going to walk back.
But this is a pretty aggressive buy. Usually we see like a cloth armor or maybe the boots come through early for the Gangplank in this matchup. But you can't bully LA, but...
Okay, well, cameraman's a little bit bullied out himself because he's got 2 lanes to watch. He's not sure where to go. Nuguri, this is in Dagda's textbook, but Trial by Fire doing a lot of work. He flashes towards the enemy turret because that's where DOINB is. But no way, Jose, as FPX are bringing up the cavalry, and DOINB always pushes and moves, but he's a little bit late this time. Gold card's timing out, and Tien now spotted out. LNG get away with first blood, and the textbook is complete.
And it's just perfectly set up there as well. But I want to... Look, you're supposed to dodge the hooks, mate. Like, they kind of hurt a little bit when you end up getting hit by them.
Fair enough.
It hasn't been the best of times for Iwandi. But definitely, in that top side of the map now, big setup coming through from LA. Nice little bit of a CS lead. You're getting those advantages for Tarzan as well, which is crucial because, as we talked about, look, you've got opportunities here for Tarzan. You can play top, you can play bot as well. But as you can see, Tien, he's responding with trying to steal away parts of Tarzan's jungle.
Leaves the last one just for good merit. Tarzan to clean that up, but Tien, little does he know that information's been given over to LNG. They know that Tien's moving towards mid, but still rooted down. DOINB sets up for a potential kill on Icon, but Crisp doesn't land the hook. Ladies and gentlemen, just remember that the reason we're seeing Crisp on this Thresh, even though it's great with the duo, he's 31-16 historically over his career on this champion. Crisp has been such a good playmaking support, but he won't be able to stop this play in the top lane.
Tarzan found Nuguri.
I want to see how far this goes, Dagda. The pounce as well. Iwandi's coming in. Nuguri staying and fighting. That's a big barrel. Wow. Face breaker out of range 2. And Tarzan just sets it back off, but into Ale. There's the flash death sentence, or about to be, with the Dark Passage to save the life. Tien on the chase. Iwandi is not going to get the same blast cone, and Tien's level 5. He'll be able to whop out so much damage with Destiny's Gate flying in. The passage complete. Iwandi with a haymaker, though, and Icon with a culling on the backline takes out the support. It's a 1-for-1 trade with Nuguri running in, but he's got numbers disadvantage. Nuguri runs in, and FPX, Dagda, they're on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, we've swapped sides here. DOINB trying to run, but Tien, where are you going to go? He gets out as well with the crab.
He goes up. What? He goes up. He steals the crab. Arley's there, but Dominus has already been used. Viego feeling confident. Not going to be a solo kill, guys, unless I'm absolutely wrong. I'm a caster in 2021. Maybe an Omega LOL coming in. Tien playing with fire. He's meant to be the Phoenix, and Ale almost burns him himself.
That was so close in that top side. I was 100% convinced Tien was about to go down, but Ale just can't quite finish him off. But messy plays coming through from FPX, scrambling to get these skirmishes going. But again, it's LNG coming out ahead with some nice plays from Icon to try and shut down kind of the mobility that FPX were trying to use in their favor.
What a great early game, though, Dagda. Let's look at the replay because it started with Nuguri playing with his own fire against Tarzan.
Yeah, and I mean, he burnt the kitty, right? Tarzan actually gets a good amount of damage turned back. Iwandi forgot to press the flash button, which is a bit unfortunate there. Would have been able to set this up a little bit cleaner for LNG, but Crisp with the mixed hook. You get the TP coming through from DOINB as part of the Destiny, but they're just not able to finish off this set fast enough. The Haymaker shield doing so much, and then Icon comes in from the back line and just finishes off so many of FPX who have overextended.
Literally like John Wick. You know, you think the bad guys would see him coming, but he gets all of his shots out and everyone's dead by the end of it. Icon doesn't get the kills there, but he's going for the serrated Dirk Dagda with the double assist that helped him pick it up. And importantly, Tarzan has the kill. Hextech Alternator. Ale has the kill. We've got an Iron Spike Whip. The top lane combination with the jungle is ablaze. And it's important to note that this is what you set up that Tarzan had to do.
Yeah, and I mean, you might be onto something with the John Wick as well, right? Instead of hurting the dog, as you hurt his cast, and now he's coming across to burn you down. But you got to be careful, because again, like, you're setting up a lot here for LNG. Full control bot side. You've already got a ton of items for Ali. A ton of these assists and kills are going towards Tarzan as well, as DOINB's just getting mowed down.
And it helps to get the turret plating. Dagda, really good lane here for LNG, and you're right. The Herald being started up at 8 minutes 55. And no one from FPX is nearby and could do a thing.
And this is what I wanted to hit on just before you kind of got the lawnmower abuse coming in onto DOINB, was you've now got the ability to play through this top side, get these Rift Heralds, start to get the gold in your favor. And especially if you're going to start taking like mid lane, it becomes really difficult for DOINB then to have influence on the map. And a composition that is trying to play globally in the manner that FPX is really hard to operate when you're that far behind.
Well, Destiny's going to be used anyway at half HP. Good gold card. This is the FPX we remember. Welcome back to 2019 with the Cannon Barrage, the global pressure. Chris sacrificing his own life. LWX getting burned at the stake. That was a bit messier than intended, but the dive is complete.
But it's a 2 for 2. Bot lane for bot lane. You're not getting the advantage you want. And now Ale, he's going to get this Rift Herald plunked into the mid lane. Icon even collects that wave bot, so you're not losing out on any of that experience or CS in the bottom lane. LNG are outplaying FPX on the map.
What is it with dives this game, Dagda? They have just not worked. Dives this series have just been absolutely fun. Fun gaming to watch. So even with the Cannon Barrage, that was 5 members bot pretty much with Nuguri's influence. And it still didn't work out. Light now has 2 kills.
I mean, Light played this exceptionally well. Iwandi was not the target here, by the way. It should have been Light straight off the bat. And you kill the Varus because, as you can see, the Haymaker going to do a whole heap of damage and also keep this this set safe for ages. Light then flashing forward, knowing that the last third shot was going on to LWX. Just unfortunate juggling from FPX, not realizing that LWX is going to pick that one up.
Definitely time to do a Death Note reference, but I'll hold it for now. I'm sure we'll get plenty of other ample opportunities. LNG in Game 3 now have good opportunities himself to build this bridge and cross it, as Chris saving LWX Iwandi without a flash. And John Wick's starting to come down. There's a crocodile next to him as well. That ain't his dog, but it's still going to hurt the same when he bites you in the back. LWX loses support, and John, middle name icon Wick, lands every shot to pick up his first kill.
And again, LNG are making these map plays happen. Now they've got full control, and it's not like once we start to move forward, right, that we're like, oh, well, you know, FPX, they still have the composition that can do well. They've got a ton of answers when they get here. That's not the case. LNG are in a really solid spot here. We're getting Light going this on-hit build. He's going to be able to deal a ton of damage to people as these fights go on. But LNG having full control of the map, it makes it really difficult for DOINB to find picks, to not have to try and collect a side wave while LNG are going towards objectives.
It's all falling apart. LNG in this third game, as I was saying before that dive came through, and funnily enough, if it's not near a turret, Dagda, I'm going to call it an intermittent dive because it was just so clean. It all comes together, and LNG really making a case to keep this series alive as we look at it again.
Yeah, and you can see initially LNG are backing away. Icon and LA were like, oh, this is never happening. And then the hook comes through from Chris, and they're like, hang on a second, are you just going to leave yourselves out to dry? And they kind of do, right? The play was dead in the water, but they give the opportunity for LNG to get into that bot side. And now we start to look towards objectives, right? LNG get the first dragon of the game. They've got the Rift Herald already that is secured top side. Next Rift Herald is going to be in about 3 minutes time. You imagine LNG, just with the pressure they have on the map, should be able to get that as well. And then you start opening up more turrets, causing more issues for an FPX that aren't really set up with this composition to fight objectives against LNG.
I mean, Dagda, one item on this composition, pretty big. Night Harvester, Immortal Shield Bow, Eclipse picked up for the Lucian mid. LNG want to keep this tempo going against FPX, who we talked about being one of the fastest teams in the league, being the team that likes to push the early game. They've been denied time and time again, and importantly enough, LNG's composition is in a much better position than it's been all series long.
Yeah, I didn't even cop that it was more the poke-orientated Lucian build as well. We actually saw this from Showmaker over in LCK a little while ago, and it's been picking up a bit of steam in Korean solo queue as well. And basically, you run the Summonary, you get a ton of poke off of with your culling, and you're trying to be that ult bot that just tears through someone in these fights, because especially against a composition like FPX that don't really have a true tank, you're going to deal so much damage to them with this build.
Good point. There is no true tank there. You know, Thresh is a man with a lantern, doesn't really have true body armor, and we know how Thresh builds, more importantly. So feels like at this point, FPX, the team that we talked about scaling, about using the global ultis here, have been denied, Dagda. And Dragons are going to start stacking. LNG have another Herald to look forward to as well. And they're taking everything out of TN's jungle.
and getting so much vision as well. Always being able to spot where Tien is means that they're not going to try and make a 3-man play with DOINB towards Nuguri or a 4-man play bot side, because you can always play safe on the side of the map that Tien is. And now you're slowly but surely whittling away structures. You're being able to group, start to put pressure on towards these turrets before that Rift Tower even spawns. Like, you can just see it's about to spawn on that top side of the map.
Yeah. Even threatening the potential of using those 4 members to continue forward in the bottom lane. Tarzan sticks around. You just mentioned Herald, a transition towards the top side with Iwandi at his hip. Light's fine in this bottom lane. He's picked up plating. Plating's now gone. The turret is a shell of a husk. Husk of a shell. The plating... Where am I? What am I trying to say?
It's a husky shelly, to be honest.
It's a husky
but we're
shell,
bot side
yeah.
right now as Tien. Trying to see if he can get onto Light. Iwandi's here, though.
Tarzan's
I don't
still
know
here.
if he can get this.
Turret gets a shot, but Destiny's going to be used once again on top of Light. Cleansed immediately to Cannon Barrage. DOINB flashes away, picks any card, but away from the true damage as Icon's now joined in the fray. It's a reset for Tien, who flashes away immediately to Haymaker. Denied by Arle. Box laid down, but Icon once again shooting out some bullets. Cleans house with Nuguri joining in simply to die. The flash forward, he takes it up. Icon, that's not how the movie ends. And what a flay at that as well. Nuguri with a shutdown. Dagda a bit too deep for LNG.
A bit? He went all too deep there. Imagine to give a kill across both to Nuguri now. He's just finished his Triforce. Lads, we were just praising you. I was about to say, this is beautiful, LNG. You realize, hey, we've got the double TP. We can answer for any of these crazy plays that come through from FPX on this bottom side. You can see, like, Iwandi says, I can go. TPs happen. It's instant that DOINB has this play on the bottom side with the turret going down. And you just back away at this point, right? Icon is only now getting into the play. Get your initial kills. You got the tower. Reset for the Rift Tower. But trying to dive the tier 2 with Icon being the one tanking as well, was far beyond where LNG needed to go.
I called him Keanu Reeves, Dagda. I mean, look, how dare he take that in vain? Overconfidence is one thing, but Nuguri just got 1,100 gold. Watch the shutdown bullet. Yeah. 600, 350. He cashed in. Nuguri has a Triforce, and soon a collector will come as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's Keanu Reeves. Sometimes Keanu sneezes, and he messes up his plays. And that's kind of what happened here for Icon. Now we're moving over towards the Dragon, though, which FPX are able to get because of the little mishap that we had from LNG, as LNG go and focus up towards Rift Tower as well. Now, still looking at map state, right? LNG are firmly ahead here.
Yep.
Because you're going to be able to use this Rift Tower to crank open that mid lane turret. You can see Icon's already shoved top. He just rotates mid. They then start to enclose in the space that FPX are actually safe to make plays work. And again, for a team like DOINB, or sorry, a champion like DOINB with this Twisted Fate, you want to have more space on the map, more opportunities to pick off LNG. And that just isn't the case right now.
I mean, it might be the other way around because LNG are looking for the Twisted Fate against the wall, picking him off. The spear doesn't connect, but the poke is huge. And alongside Icon, Light helps him get the kill. LNG set themselves up for the top side once more.
And easy as you like. This has been such a smart draft from LNG, and this is what we're talking about, right? LNG's drafting throughout playoffs has been spectacular. They've been able to find these counter picks for Tarzan. Strong solo lanes for themselves. And this is the first time that we've actually seen LNG do it. And look at the difference. They are pushing FPX to their limits right now.
They are, because we're moving into a mid-game where this time around, sure, there was one overdive. LNG have such a firm gold lead. They've got themselves triple bounty with Light, Icon, Tarzan. Dagda, the important thing is how it goes from here, because we know that in game number 2, there was a similar lead, maybe not as much controls we're seeing on the Rift right now, but FPX were able to scale, able to bring it back. So you need to walk me through what the next 3-4 minutes are going to look like as we transition to some of these longer side lanes and the game slows down a bit.
So the big thing for LNG is actually trying to coordinate around these objectives. Dragons, Barons, trying to force FPX to take fights they want, because the composition for FPX just isn't quite there when it comes towards actually going into a 5v5. For FPX, they are looking to see if there's any way that they can find someone separated. And for LNG is a team that traditionally likes to move in towards these 1-3-1 stalls, like you're kind of seeing at the moment, right? This actually plays into the hands of FPX, because if they can very quickly overload one side of the map, maybe pick up Icon, pick up Ale, they can get control and slowly wrestle back control of the Rift, and then look to try and enact their game plan easier.
I also like that now that we see the Serpent's Fang going more to the global point and pulling apart members of LNG, there's going to be a lot of unexpected damage on Nuguri, who, by the way, if you just missed that gold graph, excuse me if I could talk today, Nuguri has the most gold in Summoner's Rift right now, which is huge. 3-2-1 has bounty on his head, 180 CS. I'm just going to pause for a second because Herald's being used mid and LWX sole defending with Crisp a bit far away. Herald gets a charge through. That 3 turrets to 1, that's LNG, continuing to show that this Game 3 is still under their wing, despite what we're talking about with FPX trying to pick.
And you can see FPX, they're just trying to answer, right? Nuguri's got to stay topside. They're just like, look, mate, shove it in. See if you can get something for yourself, because otherwise this isn't going to happen. Icon trying to answer, but here's the picks that we're talking about. Overload one side of the map and see if you can make something happen. Give
Nuguri pressure to help push down this turret, give him more gold, and, you know, he's getting the balloons. He's getting the balloons tower defense. I don't know where I was going with that. The fact that Nuguri gets solo turret gold clears the wave. We're going to be looking at 2.5 items very, very shortly. Dagda, 20 minutes in. Dragon's coming up in 1:30 as well. And I'm just waiting for LNG to try and force it out and trying to utilize the items they have right now, because they've Renekton with 2, and Italy with 2. Icon's almost towards his Serelda's Grudge as well. And we've got a Wit's End on Light. So strong members of LNG going to be showcasing in front of this next fight, if there's a fight.
I don't think there will be. I think LNG will get this dragon without much contest. I wouldn't be surprised to see FPX honestly try and like double stack Nuguri and Doombi on top side. See if they can take that top lane tier 2. Maybe look for Icon to be picked off. But as I say that, there's actually a lot of posturing around here, and I don't know. I feel like if you end up going into this head on as FPX, you're just going to be in a bad spot.
Well, Light knows that and goes aggressively forward. Iwandy once again, the barrel chain not connecting. They're flashing because he's isolated. The Heartbreaker forces him away. Gold card over the wall. Doombi separated for the Everfrost. Secures the kill on the backline. Arle's doing his dirty work, but Tien doesn't want the Dark Passage. He wants the blood. We're going to fight on 2 different fronts with Doombi finally dropping down, and the Croc keeping FPX away. Light survives after all that. It's a 2 for 2, and this game is continuing to showcase blood.
But that was the best you could have hoped for there as FPX, right? You managed to pick off Icon right as it starts. You've got Doombi who's able to move in quicker with the Destiny, but LNG are still able to answer back. They're still able to use the gold lead and the compositional lead that they have to their advantage. Now with Dragon in 3 seconds, you don't get the opportunity as FPX to play towards side lanes, play towards towers, and maybe open up the map more to look for the picks that you want to try and make happen.
Let's have a look again, because it was FPX who actually started this by finding Icon in a corridor.
Yeah, and the play here was to try and get Doombi in on the play, right? He's got the Destiny, he gets there faster. Now, they do pick off Icon, but look at the rest of FPX, right? You're still in a 4v4 essentially on the rest of the map, despite Doombi getting the kill. He goes down afterwards. Ale is huge, and he's just able to 1v3 on the bottom half of that fight. There's just little you can do in team fights. I want to see FPX play the map now.
Okay, well, look for those side lanes. Dagda wants to see the map played again, coming back to what you said at the start. Globals are going to be key for FPX, and now that the third dragon is taken for LNG, their second of the game, we're looking towards a Cloud Salt as well, Dagda. Not something you have to really fight over. It's LWX getting blasted. Blocked by Nuguri, thankfully, but there goes his flash.
And there's the lethality Lucian for you. The culling is disgusting.
It hurts.
He just absolutely rips through the health bar of LWX. And now LNG are going to move back over towards this Baron. They know LWX is in base.
I want to keep forcing this tempo, Dagda, again. Win conditions. Really talked about it. You want to see LNG push this even further. Gold lead right now, 3,000. Not even that. 2,500 on the board. And FPX nowhere near the Baron, so LNG want to force them into that position and get that fight they've been dreaming of.
But look at LNG, right? They're constantly as 5. They're never allowing themselves to be separated. Although, as I say that, Icon finds Tien who's separated.
Showcasing the damage once again. LWX can't step too far forward. He's 0-4 Aphelios. And this is classic LWX, who just gets chunked with a spear. Tarzan's damage, not meaning too much with an Immortal Shield Bow. but enough for LNG to consider the Baron. When it all hinges on this game for LNG to bring it back, they have to be careful because Destiny's now been used and they could get sectioned off, but it's just DOINB spotting them out.
It's been a tough road here for LNG. The Miracle Road not quite coming together. They need to find this win here to make sure that they can at least step towards that reverse sweep. Try and bring this series back. They have the tools to do it, and Baron's going to be in their way again.
I think Tien was spotted. Not too sure, not 100%. It was backing on the corner of a wall. But doesn't matter anyway. LNG are not willing to risk it, so cancel the play, cancel the pride. Tien will walk back into the river as well and start clearing away some of this vision. Baron not going to be looked at anymore. And gold continues to be 2,500 here, Dagda. How much longer do we see LNG in control in this game? How much longer until we start talking about scaling and the comps matching up? I know you said there's not a frontline tank against LNG. Is it going to affect scaling, and what do you expect for the next 10 minutes of these comps?
So I think the biggest problem for FPX is, right, like you go into a team fight. Unless Nuguri blows someone up, it's really hard to play against LNG. Like, the poke that's coming through from Tarzan, Icon, and Light means that they can just play at range if they really want to. If you even get on top of them, I want you to reset fights. Ale is huge. You've got a ton of dashes. You've even got an on-hit Varus as well, who's going to be able to tear through Tien or Crisp if they even find it. And as long as you're stacked as 5, the Twisted Fate just isn't dealing as much damage as you really need. So I think the ability to enable yourself in a fight for FPX is really limited in terms of what LNG are doing. You kind of called it earlier on. Like, the only person that I think can really carry these fights is going to be Nuguri. If he gets these massive barrel chains off, destroys LNG, maybe FPX can carry then, but it's going to be really difficult for him to do so.
He definitely knows that because he's been farming the entire game, keeping to himself in the side lane, which, let's be fair, is also what Gangplanks do. He's had Collector for quite a while, and that 4th item will be coming into fruition very shortly, as at 234 CS at 25 minutes is a very good score count. LWX trying to do the same thing here on the FLS to pick up his 3rd item. DOINB already there with the rapid fire cannon. Just tracking items across the board here is, for LNG, I'm not speaking of 3 items on the enemy top laner Ale. I'm not speaking of 3 items onto Icon here, Dagda. But when they do get it, another point of talking could be around this next couple of fights, how much stronger they are. Because in 45 seconds, it's another Cloud Dragon. Let's not forget the ability haste, and that both teams may be posturing around it.
Yeah, I mean, look, FPX just seem like they really want to fight for these dragons. I would have preferred a second dragon, at least a second dragon for LNG, to actually play through this top side, try and crack open the map, but now they're looking for picks.
A little bit deep here, gets barreled in the end as well, picking any card as the barrel gets unconnected. That's great English. Icon setting out with the ulti too, and Nuguri takes a huge couple of pieces of poke. Chains of Corruption don't connect though, that's the ulti from Light. Icon's already burnt his as well, but big damage has been done, Dagda, at the start of this one.
It has, but you get the resets coming through on like key members. You still got TP for Nuguri, and LNG have wasted 3 ultimates. Actually, sorry, 2 ultimates in that fight. So maybe this is it for FPX.
They're split. And Destiny's used. He tries to get out though. The ultimate from LWX, though, and he's in a choke. Abelis with shurikens enabled too. Light has to get out of there. LNG, no, it's doomed. The spear flies through, but there's nothing you can do. LNG blasted in 3 seconds flat.
Culling used, Chains of Corruption used, nothing to try and lock down FPX, and it means that they just run through them. Now, Nuguri still in mid.
He is still in mid. He takes a turret shot too. Crisp saved me with a huge TY. But now in front of Baron, and Tarzan still here, Dagda. It's going down quick thanks to the Aphelios. They're trying to block him out, but Tarzan has flash. He has smite over the wall. No longer Everfrosted denied. And the Phoenix is saying what we're all thinking. We want a 3-0.
And I'm just thinking how? How can LNG not find these moments to close it out? You try and make these plays work beforehand, you use all your spells, and LNG are just so split. The Cannon Barrage keeping Tarzan out of the equation. Ale not here at the start of this fight as well. And it means that FPX, they find that crucial pick initially onto Icon. Huge. And there's just nothing left for LNG in that fight.
And Dag, don't need to clarify. I don't want people thinking I want a 3-0. I want a bloody 5-game series. But FPX look like they want a 3-0. And they're saying it out loud with each and every game. In Game 2 and Game 3, the comeback's been there. The fight's been there. FPX have showcased that they are the best team in League of Legends right now. Okay, best team in the LPL. Calm down, LCK fans.
No,
Slip of the tongue.
ever. That ever existed, ever.
Ever, yeah.
Just
you know
double
what?
down, triple down.
Screw perspective. Let's just blindly say it before they even go to Worlds. Because at this point, if they get some finals, they're in a very good position to do so, as Baron is pushing them to now have a gold lead for the first time in this game. DOINB in the side lane's already used Destiny. Tien's with him, Dagda. Look at them pull LNG around the map in this crucial Game 3.
And suddenly, all the strengths of FPX's composition comes online, right? You've got the ability to play side lanes, tear through structures, always having DOINB there with the Destiny or a teleport to try and get in towards these plays as well, and controlling the map. Now, it's going to become really hard for LNG to try and push back, and they need to find some way of just denying as much as possible FPX from pushing in, getting turrets, try and deny the vision control that FPX are going to try and lay down, and continue to find these objective fights, but set up properly. Don't just throw 2 ultimates willy-nilly into the wind and then hope to still win the fight against FPX.
Because at this point, with everything on the line, let's just talk about stakes again for our audience, because everyone out there might be tuning in and going, oh, LNG get a second chance, and they do. You're exactly right. And on top of that, they're guaranteed in regional qualifiers, which means they have another chance to fight for seeding at World with the 3rd and 4th seed. But here you're in the top 4, you've got the miracle run, you've got momentum, which cannot be understated. Against FPX, they need this game so they can get back on top. They need this series. But a 2-0 start, a Game 3 that is now looking in FPX's favor. The miracle run was the story here. We believed like we believed in Schalke. And for LNG, they're getting outclassed by the 2019 World Champions, the 2021 Spring finalists, now rummaging through the top lane, and LNG on the back foot yet again in another game in this series.
I see Nuggery fishing for the poke, trying to see if he can make this land while the Baron buffs still last. But LNG, they got pretty decent wave clear themselves, and FPX not finding a purchase really in this top side as the Baron buff fades off.
Dagda, what do you want to see is maybe Spears landing a little bit more. With the Baron gone, forget Dragon. What do LNG do to keep this going and defend against FPX? Maybe they run triple Everfrost, Cannon Barrage, Moonlight Vigil. I1's left alone. Good damage from Icon, but now they need to kill Tien. Job's done. Into the backline as Ale gets there as well. LWX and Nuggery burning down with a double barrel. This Gangplank helping out his AD carry. Flashes away. Doesn't look at explosions. He's down 2. Dagda, there's your answer for LNG to stay in the series.
The barrel doesn't go off at the end to finish off the low health members of LNG. At LNG, they find the fight. FPX, they pushed far too far. Again, trying to set up this play with DOINB, but everyone at LNG was safe. They were underneath their turret, and there's just no follow-up. You see it here, right?
Yep.
They tried to get on towards Light. They get the CC chain down, but look how far away he is. Like, even if you just use this to get them off the turret, that's fine. But over-committing for the plays, Light gets the flash away. Icon's ripping through people with that culling. And then again, Ale playing frontline here, buying space crucially for the double AD carry comp to do its job.
Talked about the barrel in the end as well. Oh, wouldn't have made a difference. I still would have got the kill, but it would have added an extra here for the Gangplank. FPX given some of that gold back. Dagda, turret will go down, but gold is even once more. LNG still in with a chance in this game. Dragon's up in a minute. Baron at the same time, and because it's a Cloud Dragon that leads to Soul Point, I feel like we need to start talking about Baron setup.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty crucial here that LNG got to push at the waves for that Baron, right? Because it makes it a little bit easier for them to have control over the map rather than, hey, DOINB just shoves in bot side, TP's top, and you burst out this Baron as FPX between the Aphelios, and also that Viego, you will tear through the big purple worm. So LNG need to keep all eyes on that objective, and with 30 seconds on towards the Dragon, I think it's worth giving up here as LNG, just because you do not want to give that Baron across to FPX.
Very, very true. We see Light Warding coming through from I1 in the meantime, knowing that FPX have committed to that play. They'll move to Soul, and we'll see what happens next, Dagda, because this will be taken down pretty quickly with LWX in the mix. But FPX don't have any Baron vision for now. They know that the rest of LNG are towards that mid lane. But no Baron vision means that they're hovering around for a little bit. Nuguri is just soloing out Dragon for now, using the oranges. He's got healing. And he'll do it actually relatively quickly as a 4.5 item gangplank.
Yeah, you can see DOINB use the Destiny to get in towards the top side as well. FPX are super focused on making sure they can continue to play the map. Nuguri on the bottom side, DOINB playing with the rest of the team. FPX, they're trying to shove LNG back. If they can keep LNG in their side of the map, in their base, they can start to control everything, make sure they're finding these picks and plays with the globals. Otherwise, LNG would just continue this march forward with their team fight comp.
You hope the march forward comes through, Dave. I want to see more games, but FPX have showed us they're not being willing to give it over. Because we're in that later portion of the game. We're 34 minutes in. Honestly, I didn't think with the way this game was going that we would get past the 35-minute mark. Thought LNG would be the team to close it out in this one, but a couple of fights gone awry. We're now waiting for that Baron play. Baron sitting there waiting as well. Soul point that leads to Soul in 4 minutes. FPX, 4 items on their core carry in LWX. 5 now with Sorelda's Grudge and a full build Gangplank Dagda, level 17 versus a 4-item Renekton. I know who I would prefer.
And now as LNG, it really does come down to execution in these fights. Because as you're talking about, right, like Aphelio's 4 items, Gangplank, massive. Like if you actually get caught out here as LNG, you will get decimated. So you have to make sure you're keeping Tarzan poking, keeping this Varus able to poke as well. Icon pulling needs to be ripping through FPX. Because if you don't find purchase with those ultimates, it's going to be such a different story here for LNG.
It's all down to those ultimates, isn't it? You can talk about Chains of Corruption. Talk about Icon as well. You know, you just mentioned Culling. DOINB's ulti. Nuguri's ulti. Even when we come down to it, the Moonlight Vigil has burnt through some health bars from LWX. And he had another rough game. LWX once again caught out in questionable positions, as we know he often is. But he's always a great late team fight. Late game, LWX shines there. And FPX trying to set one up because DOINB's got a pick. It's a pick onto Ale. No! LNG, your top laner, caught out. The Death Sentence misses, but Nuguri doesn't. 5 versus 4, and Ale with a crucial mistake in Game 3 to try and get into the semifinals and make the reverse sweep. Now they have to fight at a detriment. Now they have to fight at a disadvantage. A steal over, though! King of the Jungle returns. Forget numbers. When you have Tarzan, you don't get George.
There is one man that has been holding LNG in this playoffs. Time and time again, it has been Tarzan stepping up to the mark. And once more, he steals away the Baron using the execute that Nidalee has to snipe that one right out of FPX's hands. And just disrespect. FPX thought they could go for it. And now DOINB might be caught.
Well, he's going to back away and not overstay his welcome. But there's a reason we always talk about Tarzan. Why we talked about the jungle matchup in the series. Tarzan has been the blood of LNG, the success here. And that steal keeps LNG in the game, puts gold in their favor after Ale got caught on a ward.
And Ale should not be in that position, right? They know that he's going to be way overextended, which is why they go for this commit. They managed to find the pick. But the fact that they don't get Baron is so crucial. We saw how much damage was dealt with the last Baron. If this is actually going to cross the FPX, it could have been a disaster, but instead, DOINB not really in a position to get the stun on towards Tarzan. Can't keep him out of the pit. And it's one of the big reasons why I think Nidalee and Lee Sin are really strong at the moment around objectives is your smites are always even now. With those changes that came through a while ago, 900 damage is always going to be there. You need these executes to help secure it, and it's Nidalee who's there to do so.
So, LNG now with the Baron buff. Look at them playing through the side, setting up the top lane. FPX are conditioned around mid, but they don't have control anymore, Dagda. Just like that, it's been transitioned over to LNG. At 38 minutes of the game, we go on. And we don't know who's going to be taking this one because it is a Cloud Soul. It is 40 seconds till that spawns. But LNG have now extended the map, made it theirs once more when it felt like FPX were crushingly going to blow this down 3-0.
Dragon in 30 seconds as well. LNG can shove in mid. They've got full control top, go and secure themselves that third dragon. And now we start to get into very dangerous territory, because you can see it is even Steven essentially when it comes to gold. A 2k gold lead at this point in the game does not matter. You're getting 5 items nearly across the board here for a lot of these guys. This is now going to come down to how well can LNG execute. Will they get caught out? Can they find these big team fights? But with Iwandi kind of sitting here in the pit, maybe you end up with FPX starting to move around the map instead as they back away.
Arlo's at a flank, and you're right, FPX don't want to even touch that with the 10-foot pole. It'll be Sol for both now as LNG move to Sol point themselves. Game goes on. We're in for the long haul here, Dagda. We're getting to boot-selling territory for someone like Nuguri, for someone like DOINB as well, as he's now even moved to full items. And I want you to run me through at this very late game point. Forget it. Forget what I'm saying, because it doesn't matter. On to Icon. Gold card, but no Everfrost. And FPX still trying to pick him out, even without the ultimate from Twisted Fate.
LNG pushing in here on the top side as well. Look at where LWX is. Position B, trying to clear out that wave. So LNG, they get full control here, but wave clear is not something to be sniffed at on FPX.
It's really not. Tien as well. Harley's caught out again. The rest of his team over the wall. Gold card. Everfrost, the hook as well. The top lane, Renekton, dropping the chain a little bit. Goes into GA, but it's set up by Iwandi with the face breaker. Chris not getting the hook. It's chaos in the pit, but Noguri's already picked up the first kill. Icon goes in. He's exhausted with the Moonlight Vigil with LWX. Team fighting God once again. A spear hits him. Tarzan jumps in, but you're fighting against the Phoenix. Of course you're getting burnt. Quadra kill for Nuguri. That's what a world champion does.
And I cannot believe that FPX once again find these small angles of attack to get against LNG. They find Ale separated because he just takes the wrong road, and FPX pounce on him. And now you've got 40-second death timers. They've got Lich Banes. They've got damage. They're going to look to end.
Icon trying to defend it with his life. FPX, you mentioned 4-hit Dagda. That's a strong Phoenix at that. This was meant to be the miracle run. And FPX come in as first seed. LNG came so far, but it doesn't even matter. Respawn here from LNG's Iwandi, but the Phoenix burns too damn bright. Semi-finals locked in. Pride maintained with a simple message for their opponents. Play with fire and you get burnt.
A burnt LNG got over and over. LNG had